I want to start out by saying that I love myself. I've come to love who I am and accept myself for what I am, who I am, and who I will be, who I was. Um, but I think that people would listen to the message that I want to bring to the world if I wasn't white. And in that way, sometimes, in that way, I wish I wasn't white because then people wouldn't tell me that I'm not allowed to think a certain way or hold a certain perspective because of the color of my skin. It's taken a lot of work for me to get to where I am now. My mindset, where I am now, a lot of self reflection about humans and how we think and what makes us the person that we are, the characteristics, survival, fear, resources, skills, acceptance, self worth, things that we all have in common, and more. And I can't escape being white. And I'm not saying like that as a skin color thing. I am white colored. That's what I am. Heritage wise, according to ancestry, DNA, I'm Scottish and and some other stuff, but that doesn't matter, right? Because to me, I don't have that culture. I don't have that heritage. I don't know anything about my ancestors, right? Um, all I have is an idea, a philosophy of unity, and that of these things that we get caught up on. And I try to bring these things to attention, and it's quite often the color of my skin is brought up, and it just immediately has the power to invalidate whatever I say because of the color of my skin. And I hate it so much because I am trying to escape whiteness. And it is thrust upon me all the time. What is white? To me, white is assimilated. You have been assimilated. You have lost your um, indigenous, native culture, language, upbringing, right? There's a lot of different types of white, right? Do you consider people that are in Estonia white? Is Russian white? Or is American white? A white American white. White European British person. Is that white? Where does white start? Where does white end? To me, white, if you have pride in white, you have pride in a skin color that has no depth, no culture, no tradition, no rich history. It's not tied to any land, no ancestors. Like if you're like, oh my god, if you trace your ancestors, if you're in America and you trace your ancestors back to the colonists who arrived here, that's not your ancestors. Where'd they come from? It's made me question so much things I don't even know what to believe anymore. I really need to go down a historical rabbit hole because I've started thinking, of like this whole imperialistic ideology. Did they actually piss other people off and those people retaliated? For instance, did the Vikings do their Viking thing because Europe tried to overreach? And, because Europe came from a Christian nation, and Christians historically paint pagans as horrible people. And it's just it's a tactic. It's a tactic to to conquer, right? We're saving you guys from these horrible, dangerous pagans, right? We did it with the Celtics, drove those snakes out. St. Patrick drove those snakes out, and the only thing we know about them is what we're told. What we're told about them. A narrative. History is a narrative. The only way history isn't a narrative is when you have the story from both sides and you can put them together and you can find a convergence. The sad truth of it is, and I'm not saying this about myself, I'm saying it about what white is. White is a victim of cultural identity and language loss. You speak English. You are English. More than white, you are English. I think English can be blamed more for things than the color of skin, right? And somehow white has become synonymous with Christianity. But what about the non-white Christians that are all over the world? A large percentage of the world is Christian, but we hyper focus, you know, in ideas like America tradition founded on Christianity. No, it wasn't. I mean, if you think about it, what else could it have been founded on? All the people who came here for religious freedom from religious persecution, quote unquote. And that was just different variations of Christianity. Their Christianity deviated from the norm Christianity, and so was like looked down upon. Even in Christianity, Christians were looking down upon other Christians. Even, in Christianity, Christians don't agree with one another. The whole reason that slavery began to get abolished in the U.S. is because of the Quakers. I forgot the name of the state where the Quakers were, but that was the first state to abolish slavery, and it was catching. Right? So it's not that all white people are bad, but all white people are conditioned. If you call yourself white, then you have lost more than you know, because you can't call yourself Irish. You can't call yourself Scottish, Welsh. You can't call yourself any of the Germanic tribes or the other tribes of England that got assimilated in creating the United Kingdoms, Great Britain. That's what I feel like a lot of people don't think about, right? But that's why I say I don't like white, because it makes me work harder. I can't say the things that I say out of love, out of open-mindedness, because I am immediately lumped into white, and I must have the ideologies of a typical white man, whatever that is. And I must experience the life of the normalcy of the typical white person, whatever that is. I have to accept that somebody got to decide what normalcy is for me because of the color of my skin. Like I said, I try to escape white, and it's hard to separate that, right? Only because if it was something else that wasn't like the color that I reflect, it would be easier. But I'm just constantly reminded. I don't like the terms white. I don't like the terms black. But, how do you escape something that stains you?